And here we are, everything is set up. I hope YouTube gives this live to everybody. And let's get some people in here and start coding. Hi, hello, hello, hello. Today we will start to work on my itch.io entry for the mini micro game jam. Now let's try to get the link to my channel, get it out, share it with the Discord, get some people in here. And do it like that. And let's start. Well, the topic of this game jam, I'm gonna go and switch over to my screen. As you can see, we'll work on the mini micro one-page jam. Make a mini micro game in just one page of code. And my method for doing this will be get starting with a game and then see if we can condense it down to be just one page of code. So basically we'll start like I'll start every project, and that's by going to GitHub, and let's start a new repository for the one page jam. Just call it one page jam 2021. Can be public. I like adding a readme file. I'll choose a license maybe later, and I'll just create my Git repository so that we can see at least that. Okay, everything is set up, as you can see. Here we have that. Copy this, and let's open PowerShell and switch to where I have my code. Here I have Git. My Git, most of my projects are in here. And let's clone this project into here. Works all automatically because I set it up earlier. Okay. So I got that. So let's get to mini micro coding. Best will be to open up the mini micro console, start it. Wonderful. Here it is, and for now we will unmount the current user directory and create a new folder. I have my stuff here, and where are you? One page jam. And first thing I will create is my user folder. Take this one and mount it as a new user disk. So git one page jam user, it's here, reset, and yeah, there's nothing here. Close this up, start up a new mini micro, and now we should be here. Okay, and so we can get start coding. Well, what do we want to do? I think smartest decision is if I just start with opening this folder in Visual Studio Code. I know that you can code quite a lot inside Minimicro, but I just prefer having VS Code in there, and you can just have a folder in there and work in VS Code, and it works fine. Integration is quite nice, quite simple. So on page gem, open the user folder. Here we are, and to try out that everything worked, I will create a startup.ms file. If you have a file like that in your user directory and you start Minimicro, it should just load into it, and we'll just start with a print hello world. See if everything worked. And start up Minimicro again. And we see it prints the hello world. So the startup script works. Okay. Now the question is, do I want to just write everything into startup.nms, or will I write I'll do it the quote-unquote clean way and start at least a new file for my game, called it game.ms. So let's start thinking what we want to do for this game, for this game jam game. I guess I wanted to do a kind of like Sokoban type game. So that would be like a grid-based puzzle game. And the most important thing about that would be a player character. So maybe let's get started with something like that. And as always, with working with this one of my most done Google searches, Minimicro cheat sheet. I don't know what I would do without this thing. I use it basically all the time while coding on Minimicro. First thing I want to do is probably just load a sprite and have this sprite be my player. So if I remember everything correctly, I should have a sprite display. Yeah, it's number 4. No, 5. 5 is the sprite. 5 is the sprite display, and we can have a sprite class. So let's start by adding a sprite for my player. Since I don't have anything yet, open up Steam, open up a sprite, and create a new file. I guess 24 times 24 should be enough for now. This is just like placeholder art. Make a 24 big red circle and export that and go to my web. That was one too much. Just go here and load it as, for now we just player sprite ENG, and let's see if we can just show this somewhere. I don't need to save this. This is not complicated enough to warrant saving. Now, what's the next thing I want to do? Yeah, all right. Stay on it. Okay, so where does it say how we load something? Here's be like sprite, image, file, load an image. But I think there was some example somewhere in here that was pretty straightforward. How can I always forget how this works? Well, we just say player is a new sprite. Then maybe it's enough if we do it like that and don't start with some weird object things, because game should be small. Maybe we can deal with very little object orientation in total. Okay. So we want to first probably load the image. Where are you? There's the sprite display. Sprite class dot image equals file dot load image. Yeah. So sorry if I'm going a bit fast or something. I did this before, I promise, but not that bright to remember everything. So player dot image, because it is a sprite, and then I can say equals file dot load image player sprite dot png. Then next thing I want to do is player, just put it in the middle, so player dot x equals display 5 dot that displays all had some kind of width and height, right? Or at least the sprite and the pixel displays should have that. So x is that way, so width halved player dot y equals the same thing, but with height halved. And then my last thing to do is display 5 dot sprites equal, or wait, in this case I can just say push and put my player in there, and let's try out if that does something else but crash. So I reset this, show me my dear, load game, run. Okay, load image not found in map. What did I do wrong? Load image. It's file.load image. Don't you know file? Hello. File. File. Ah, the I is big. Yeah, I just can't read. That's how I live. Clear. Reset. Load game. Run. Sprite's not found in map. So display 5. is a pixel display and not a sprite display. That is completely true, since I want display 4. This will probably annoy Joe, because I'm sure also the sprite display has some kind of name, but I just refuse to use it for now. And no width, okay. This is annoying. But I guess since we won't do anything with changing that, load it, run, and it works great. So here's my sprite. Only took me, what, 5 minutes to get my sprite loaded. I remember that I did this very often until now. Could have been faster. Okay. So now I want to do is start to think is what I want to do. I will start this with being a grid-based game. So what I will do is I need to map position on my screen where a sprite is to somewhere on the grid. So my player does not only have a X and a Y, but it has a col and a row where it is as well. So col equals 0, player dot row equals 0. Now I also want to somehow define a start position, which for now let's start somewhere here, which I guess I could just do with birds. So yes, what's that? That's just a song. Great. So that's how I called that in Starfare, and I think it's not that stupid. I say map 0, 0. In Starfare, that's a function, but for now, I could just say this is my dictionary, where I say X for map 0, 0 is and Y, we do the same but with hate. X to hate and third and code game run still does exactly the same, and I say pp map 0, 0. Pretty pp is not, it's unknown. Yeah, because I told you to not call it pp but pprint. Okay, that kind of works. Now let's say this is map 0, 0 plus player.call, and this is map 00 plus player dot row, and then a last thing for now that I will define is a square size or a grid size. Call it grid size for now. My grid size for now is 32 pixels. So the position of this should be 00 plus this value times grid size half. But now we have the problem with there being a 0 in there as well. So it needs to be plus the half grid size all the time. So let's do some parentheses in there and see how ugly that looks. Okay, clear. Load my game, run it, and we got an error. Line 10. You got what? Got a miniscript value number. Oh, sure. You are correct, miniscript. Okay, and that's my 00 now. So let's say this is the position 00, and to change this, what if we have it at 1, I keep my mouse here so that I kinda know. It should be there now, right? So, clear again, load game, and run. Haha, worked. Okay, start at 00. Because that's how sane people operate. Or at least that's how I operate. And what's the next thing we should do? Maybe just go right into some kind of grid movement or some kind of movement. Now we have some setup here, but we still do not have a game loop. It just stops. So we can say while then we have this thing with like key and pressed. So not key pressed and set it to Q. So while not key pressed Q, does it work like that? I think it wants parentheses in this case. And while, and now we do nothing, but we don't stop the program, right? And if I press Q, yeah, it stops. Great. Okay. Now, then, in there, if I say, if key pressed, what's up, down, left, and right are the names for my arrow keys. So let's start with those. If key pressed left, then player move left, and I don't have a move left, so I will add move left player dot move left equals function, and this function, it can be an empty one, so that's not a problem at all. So a move to the left would mean those are rows, so rows stay untouched. Column is that way. So player dot call equals player dot call minus 1, and then we recalculate the position of the player, and that is actually what we do right there. So right there, what I do here is render my position, my column and row position on the screen. So I can use this code and just put it into a function. So player set sprite position, or auto sprite position is function, and I end the function, and it is ugly, so what are you doing? So now we're here, put something here, and then we say self. Also here, this is not player, this is self. Another self. And the next thing I want to do is auto sprite position. And let's have a look. Did it work? So reset everything, load the game, run it, and we are somewhere. Okay. And auto sprite position is unknown, and everything is the worst. That's true, because self.auto sprite position, and also we never say player dot auto sprite position in the beginning, but now we do, so that might work. Okay, I lost my mini script, my mini macro, so let's start it again. It loads my hello world, so this is still working. Load the game, run, and I am here, and once I pull left I am somewhere. Why am I somewhere? Because I don't know. Q. The player place. Okay. Ah, I think I know what happened. That what happened is annoying. Basically, to explain it to you, what I think what happened is, once I push the button on my screen, this is true, and I have no tick rate or anything in here, so it just goes whoosh up to the left, and is, as you can see here, I am like I pressed it for not even a second, and I'm at position minus 6000, which of course is not rendered on the screen. So how do I want to solve this? I might want to solve it with the... Basically, I have two ideas. I could just accept a certain amount of inputs per time. Or I can do it with a just pressed thing, where once when I press the button and then it stays pressed, and I need to release the button for it to not be pressed. But is there like a just pressed thing here? I don't think so. Okay. Well, for now, do it with like left button pressed equals false. So if key is left and not left button pressed, then I do that. So this is no longer a one-liner. Player move left, and we say left button pressed equals true. And then we say if. And if is in this language too. Just close the if bracket. And in a second swoop, we go with if not key pressed left, then we say left button pressed equals false. Okay, maybe that works now. Clear, load, run. Yeah. So I can move left now without it flying off. So my next my next task, or my next thing I need to do, is think of how can I generalize it for all the directions. Because I don't know, this is very straightforward brute force code right now, and I don't like it that much. So maybe I can do something about that. I could have the call and row in a position in the player and do something with that. Not sure if that helps. Also, I need to think about, like, do I want to really set up a lot of generalizations, or do I just want to get my code to kind of work quick and dirty before I get to it? So God damn it. How do we do that? How will we do that? I think for now, nah. I want to have the cool solution for this problem. So okay. I can have left button. This is also a stupid name. Key pressed left and not left button pressed. I'll rename it to just pressed. Then okay, if I would do a game that's not grid based, what I would do now is start looking at my keys and calculate an input vector from that. But I'm in a grid based game, so what do I want to do when left and like left and right are pushed at the same time? I think what I want to do is nothing. So this also means and not key pressed right. And now my lines are getting longer and longer and longer. But this is okay. So go for a quick check if that actually works like I think it does. But I would be very annoyed if it doesn't. So left, and I'm somewhere again. God damn it! What happened to my player? Why? So if key pressed left and not. I found it out. I forgot to rename it here. So clear, reset, load game, run. Okay, left, right. Right is pushed, I do left, nothing happens. That's exactly what I wanted. So that works. And now is there a way I can check if any direction button was pressed? I can. So let's say if he got pressed left plus he got pressed right plus he got pressed up plus he got pressed down equals 1, then print now. And this is all nice, but I don't want you for now, so off to the ugly comment land it is for you. And so this now, okay, do it like this, and maybe it's better that way. So basically what this should do is tell me if I'm pressing a, but like if I'm pressing one direction button and only one, not more than one direction button. Because I want to only move when there is one direction button pressed. I think everything else is a bit confusing for now. Maybe there's a better solution for this. Please tell me if you have one. Write a comment or write into the chat box or whatever. So come on, mini macro. Load the game. Run. Now. Okay, I should also do something that else and if print not now, just so that I can see that this actually works. Reset, clear, load game, run, and else skips what if I think might be that I need to do it like this in this case. Then else print and if clear, reset, load, and load my game. Run, not now, not now, and a second one is not now. Okay, this does exactly what I wanted to do. So get rid of useless prints. And what do I want to do when there's one pressed? When there's one of them pressed, so if this is one, then I want to know which one is pressed. So what I could do is in the beginning, I could set up some kind of array. Let's say this is my input map, or nah, just input is a bad word. I think it's a function that's already in mini macro. So press keys. Pressed keys it is for now. And this one is simple. This is key pressed left. Key pressed right. And we go to key pressed up. And we have the last thing, key pressed down. Now, you go to the comment land for now. So let's think about this. Is this smart to do it like that? No, it is not, because we want some kind of at least go in some kind of order that's not left, right, up, down. That's like left, right, up, down. It's good if I want to do a prayer, but not for now. So I think I should go with like north, east, south, west. So my first one will be up. My second one will be right. That one will be down. And that one will be left. Okay, and now let's open the cheat sheet and see if there is an easy function here to get the sum of a list. It is, because it's called sum. So if pressed keys pressed keys dot sum equals 1, then we print now And the same thing as before. I should have left it in, right? Yeah. Well, oh, no. And if... I hope you're not laughing at my way of coding. I know it's a bit erratic, but that's how we work here. Okay. You are here. I am online. Clear, load game. Run, not now, not now, yeah, and great, it works, and I have it in an array now, so I can then. So if this is true, I can say if pressed keys the sum is 1, then, and if, okay, now what we have now is 4 cases that can be true. It can either be up, right, down, or left, and we will not get past this, but it should be quite or kinda easy if I just say if pressed keys 0, then. So what this means, if the button that is pressed, I think I could also just, can I just get rid of this, or do I then have a problem with greater than 1? Let's go back on this, put the print back in here, and just say if pressed keys dot sum. This goes into how the boolean works. It's also not very necessary to know right now, but perfectly fine, but I cannot help myself. No, of course it does not, because anything that is bigger than a 0 is now truthy, and that's not what we want to do. So edit redos. Do I have more redos in there? No, I don't. I don't care. And if so, if pressed key is 0, then this means this now this is up. But I could just say, okay, if this is the case, then say player move, and the player now gets the pressed keys array, and do it in the player. So move left is useless now. You are now move, and move is a function taking the input array and the function. And what I do now is I say player row equals player row, then so the next thing we have here, hello, who is ever is watching, by the way, nice to have you here. So next thing, player row, let me think. Player row is player row plus if we have up, and up is the first one, so input array at 0 minus input array at 0, 1, 2. Okay. Then I can do the same thing or a similar thing for the column of the player. Hello, Joe. I hope you don't cringe too much while I misuse miniscript. So the column, we say this could be an input array. Now plus would in this case be right, and right is 1, and input array with 3 would be that. Okay. Now, this is all great, but we still have the pressed key problem that is still here. So I can rename this stuff to button just pressed instead of left button just pressed, and then put the, so can I say and not button just pressed, then I say button just pressed is false as well. And the next thing we will do in, oh no, it's true, not false. And then if pressed keys sum is actually 0, then we say button just pressed equals false, and I think it's time to give it a try again. I always get into a bad habit where I just code and code and code and code, and then I have to work through so many lines. Mini macro ran away again. Where are you? Here you are. Okay. Load my game. And run. And nothing works at all. That's great. Why does nothing work at all? Ew. Because I move, but I don't auto sprite position afterwards. Okay, next one. Stop closing mini macro. You don't need to close mini macro. Remember that that is not necessary. Load game and run. Nice. Up works, down works, left works, not right works. So left and right are the same right now. Why? Because of this. Sure. So, and I closed it again. Okay. Reload the game. We run it. And we can move on the grid. Isn't that great? And now the only problem that I have is that you can only push one button at the same time. I think I might be able to live with that for now. It feels terrible. But then... I'm afraid this game might not have enough time for that kind of polish where I can now have some delays where I still accept the button and then... Yeah, no, that's way too much, right? I'm planning for unnecessary features again. So... Right. next thing we need is some borders, because right now our little dot character, our dot player, there they go. They are off. That the equals one. I I did this on purpose because I don't know what I want to do when I push more than one button. Since I do not have diagonal movement, I'm trying to implement Sokoban, and in there diagonal movement is kinda impossible. So that would solve that problem, but then I would not know, for example, how the movement worked. So it's a great idea. I also thought about it. Does not work in this case. I want to be really specific about the direction, the input that was given. So the only solution for it feeling a bit better would be something like input buffering, like I would do it for a jump for in a platform as well, where I allow the player to put in their inputs a little bit earlier than they thought that they pushed the button, but I think this might get cut in the one-page requirement of this project. Okay. So I think next, yeah, borders to my field. So let's just do it like make a static map for now and say the map is 10 by 10. I could easily do something like I think if I import the math, I can have like a minimum and a maximum, right? Let's open GitHub. And let's give me this system disk of this. So give me my libraries. It would be math utils. Do I need you for a minimum? Yes. No, I don't need you for a minimum. Ah, clamp. That's exactly what I want it to be. So we gonna use clamp then. So this is in math utils. So very interesting, exciting thing. We do our first import. And I am not able to remember anything for longer than 2 seconds. Math. It's wrong. Math utils. So I will clamp this value. Minimum value is 0. Maximum is 1 in this in the default, but I don't want it. So I'm sorry, I can't do it. I need to do it like this. And now I should have a maximum size of a 10 by 10 grid where I can work move around. So let's try it. It actually worked. Micro. There you are. Load the game. And run. And clamp is unknown in this context. Sure. it is, because mathutils is nice to know. Okay, so reset, clear, load and run, and mathutils not found. Hmm. 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 Okay, welcome to a session of why am I too stupid to use this. I'll go for a big cheat. Big cheat. I open some staff error code. And in there we got so many imports in there. Yeah. Because I can't read. That's the problem. It's mafutil, not mafutils. Okay. Clear, reset, load, and go run. Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, works. So now my world is 10 by 10, which is tiny. At least feels tiny. So I think we can at least live with a world that is about, let's say it is 15 high and make it 20 wide. No. Reset, load. Still feels tiny. I can go bigger. Let's see how big this feels. I closed it again. My finger is way too quick on just closing my program. It's terrible. Load my game. And run. And there we go. Okay. That feels great for now. That feels like it is an okay game size. Still, maybe this whole clamping thing is not necessary, because I could also do it with the levels, and it is of course terribly off-center. But maybe what I could do is now also use this, that I know that it is this big, and try to just have a rectangle there. So before we push anything, we need it here. Yeah, I think we can just do this here and also separate something between things that we use and things that are kind of like constants. I should refactor those to be big letters, but I'm too lazy. No time for being lazy. You do it. So map 0, 0. I could at least pretend like I want to write readable code that is actually of use to someone. So any more map 0s here? Nope, that's okay. And then we have grid size. That up here, that up here. Now, yeah, I wanted to paint my world. In order to paint my world, I could for now just have a rectangle there. And this rectangle I would paint on this on the graphics display. So that means hello mini macro cheat sheet. Yeah, pixel is behind me. That's perfect. Actually what I want. So defaults are fine. And reddish thing. I think silver would be a good color for now. And in order to fill a rectangle, I could say, here's the player, this is just some functions, and here is the setup and the thing. So I think it belongs right here. So gfx fill rectangle. Yep. Left button with height. That means I need to set the color before. Color equals color.silver. I fill my rectangle, and I fill my rectangle like this. I say you are from floor map 00 dot x and floor map 00 dot y, and then it is fill floor of map 00 plus world width. Don't know how to. No idea how to write width. Never did. Never will. Hate is the same problem. Aha. If I do it like that. I have all my things up top and don't need to look for magic numbers inside my code. So in my opinion, that's better. Hopefully that's better. So this was it's like point bottom left, and then what do I have? I have width height, right? So So it's well width times grid size and lower map 00 plus well height times grid size. This is a long line of code. It's an ugly line of code. Let's see if it works. Mini macro is here. We are clear. We load the game, or we run the game. I have some kind of error in line 21. Yep. That's fair. Okay. It worked, but not like I expected. So let's find out what kind of what was my problem with that thought. Load the game again. Run. Okay. So you can go up here. How long can you? Okay, we are now bigger. I see. So let's say 1, 1, 2. Okay, first things first. Thirds are stupid, you are now on fourths. Next thing. Rows are height. And columns are width. Very important to know. If you can remember more than I can. And go up. And we got a game, and we run the game, and that's how it looks now. I don't know what this weird thing is there. This just looks weird. Okay. So, my movement stops here. Also, this is just wrong. It is just wrong. Everything I did is wrong. In the wrongest way possible. Why is it wrong? Yeah, because this is wrong. Because this is this times. No. Yes. Don't expect that one to be right either, but it might be a little bit more right than the one before. Okay. Now, here we are. Yeah, that means actually needs to be way smaller than I thought. Way smaller. We will go to a golden ratio with this at some point or something. Do not yet know what was the smartest decision on that. But hey, we're here for some fun coding, not that we know everything right away. Okay, go smaller. Okay, you can move here, which is probably fine, and here I go a little bit up, so that means my whole thing needs to be like moved by half the grid size to the top and to the right. So how can we do that without it being super annoying? I think not at all, but we can just do this. Add this to everything. For now, this line is straight sent to me from the devil. I already do not like it. Maybe the game does now work like I would expect it to. Okay, so that's a little bit too much. Why is it too much? Because this is width and height. So why does it even work? This is completely wrong. It is completely wrong. This should it should just be like that, right? Am I stupid? Is anything real anymore? Okay. Yeah, I can't run nothing. Good job, myself. Good job, myself. Okay, so now everything that's too much, I think, is that one. And yep. Let's start this up. Hey, already 3 people interested in viewing. I'm glad that you're all here. I can help you with your own projects or your own ideas. I think you might know where to find me. If not, join the Miniscript Discord and write me there if you want to know anything about Minimicro, or just write into the chat. Also works. I load my game, I run my game, and I move to the right, and it looks like I wanted it to. A bit off center. I have to be honest, a bit off center. We will fix that some later time. But this is exactly what I wanted to do for now. So we have my world, we have my player movement. Ah, that feels so good. Feels so good. I'm glad when something works out. Well, now, does this qualify for a one-page jam? No, not even close. This is code overload, so for the jam I will need to condense this down and probably make the code even more uglier and less readable. But we're not done. As I said, first I will write the clear code of my game, and then I'll see what I can rip out of it, and so that it still works and still is a game. So next thing I would want to is to have boxes on there. In order to have boxes, I need cells. Or I could add all the boxes as sprites. But then I have a bit of a problem when I do the collision testing, because I do not want to have like real sprite collisions. I just want it on a logical value. So I will probably need an array that represents my world at some time. So I know what we'll do for now. For now, we will realize that my coffee is empty. Switch over to my face cam, and I'll get myself some more coffee. And before I do that, I will... There's text in here. Here there's text. So, back soon, coffee break, coffee break. Okay. And you get to enjoy a very nice chair stream for a moment. Great, the coffee is hot. I am back. I will save the back soon coffee break for me. And let's go back to my coding page. Okay, so in the last about 90 minutes, we now implemented grid-based movement of a player. So we have movement on a grid for a player without actually having a grid. So there's multiple directions we could take this, and it is probably a good thing to commit. Because yeah, if you commit more often than me, that would be nice. Okay. Implement grid-based movement and do it. And push. If you're interested, the whole project will also be on GitHub, so if you want to check out the code later, feel free to do so. For now, we need a grid. For a grid, we will probably use lists with 2 dimensions. How do we take what do we do with 2-dimensional lists? We need to create them, and I know there is something somewhere with array utils that we can use to do that. So back to GitHub, back to the system library disk, and let's do some reading. Okay, so there are the libraries, and I want some list utils. There's a list util to the arrays. So list init 2D. Okay, yeah, exactly what I want. Also easy. So list init 2D, function, rows, columns, and initial value. Do not what you would want them for 2D array of numbers if you want to do net. Okay, yeah, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. A tile display for storage of the... Maybe. That is an idea, but... do I need that? Because I don't know if I will have... No, feel free to put some input here. I always like to think stuff like this through. What does the tile display actually do? It has like a type, right? On each tile. So I have a number which kind of tile it is. So I would need to somehow extend that. Because I do not also only have... Is it like... I will have walls and I will have floors. So that will work fine with that. But then I also need to somehow put crates on them. So maybe I can do that. I mean the tile display, tile set, yeah, that's all fine. You know what? I'll just look at the pretty print for tile display myself inside Minimicro. I do not want to play Minecraft, thank you. So pretty print of display. Which one is the tile display? None. 4. No. Is there already a default tile display in here, or? Do I need some to set one up? No, there's no tile display. But I could just set number 6 onto being a tile display, so display number 6 mode equals, yeah, 4, and have a look. This does not help me at all. What did I do wrong now? Okay, look in the wiki. Okay. You... That's actually more helpful, yes. But still not very much. Oh. Is there a way to for me to get the array of the tile display where it sets the cells? Or is this some Unity magic behind there? Since cell is a function that gives me a cell, and I have set cell, but I cannot have like the... I guess there's like some kind of 2D array behind this, right? So tile display. You're right. Would be wise for me to... Oh. Question is, do I need that? That so turns the tile index at a given row and column within the tile display. Okay, and I know by now, except if you changed it, that the tile display at least it had a maximum of 255 by 255, and it is width and height. So with width and height, I could see how many columns there are. It would probably would work. But do I want to do it that way? Wait. What does... Nah. Yeah. No, I want to add something to the cell. So... I see. I think my problem is that I do not just want to add a number there to indicate what kind of tile that is, but I kind of want to the boxes to be sprites, because that way I might maybe be able to do something like in animations and not have it on like have the floor and the walls. That's fine. Those could be a tile set later on. For having it, but for the data that I want, I think using sprites would be better, and having the cells there. So if I could somehow access the 2D array, that would be nice, but I think it's might just be not possible in this case, right? Because what I have here is I can get an index, but I can't get any more information, and I might need a bit more information. Maybe this changes later when I figure out that I was actually not going the right way. But I think for now I will go for... Yeah, I know this. With the crate, I know a way how I could implement it if I had to do it with a tile set. It's very much... Yeah, it's very much possible to do it with a tile set. But I was thinking of maybe having animations in there, and that then kind of destroys the whole thing. So I'll just do it. I'll just do it that way. And also maybe for any less experienced viewers, makes it a little bit more easy to understand what we are actually doing, or what I am actually doing here, because I think an array is easier to understand than the tile system. So for now, I still need the list util. So import list util, and here we say we want my world is a new... No, it's a list util dot init 2d. Is this in the wiki? It is. So it's row, columns, and initial value. And this initial value, I think, can be a cell, right? Which means what I can do is be like cell equals a weird thing, and set cell type to 0 for default, and set cell box equals null, and there I could put crates then later. And then I say list init. I want it to be... Do I want it to be width and height, or height and width? My poor brain. I think it's column and row, so width and height. So width, well, height, and then we put cells in there, and we clear, reset, we load the game, we run that thing, and init2d is not in there, probably because I wrote it. I did write it wrong. Yes, I did. Small d. Reset. Nope. Run, and it's still not in there. So the thing is list util. Want to import list util. Yeah. And then I say list util init2d. And it should work like this probably. But init2d. What? Like, there's everything here in math util. Where's my list util stuff? Import list util. That's bad. Is there something wrong with the list utils? Sys lib do no, there's everything in there. Ah, wait, what does this? Yeah, it adds it to list, right? Not to list util. Yeah, I see, I get it. Ah, God, it's so confusing. And that's also why it doesn't work. So, go to identify a world with where end of the line is required. Maybe. Could be like that. By the way, I've not yet figured out where I really need parentheses and where not. But that seems to have fixed it. Okay, so now print out my world. That was a stupid idea. Idea. Thank you for implementing the pretty print function. It's great. I'm a big fan. Okay, so that seems to have worked. Now, I think we open a Sprite again. Create some more awesome Sprite work. 24 times 24, make a box. So for now, this will be our box. I got a box. Yep. Export it to there. Buy a Sprite, need you when I need art. Okay, so we have a player. The player is a Sprite. But then we will have boxes. They are like cells, but they're also sprites. So box is also a new sprite. Then box dot image will be file load image box png. Now box will also have some kind of move function that works like the player thing. And I think it actually works quite very much like the player, because the box will also have a column, and then the box will also have a row, and that does mean I can do some abstractions later, or do I do them now? I hate that I can't see that this is ugly code. Like, I hate that I don't like to even write it like that. So that probably means I should think about how to how to properly set it up for now. So I got in my game, I got sprites, and they will always have these weird position things until I animate them. Then everything will be the worst. But right now they're like that. So and they are part of my game world. So let's call them game world. Or not just game sprites for now. A game sprite is a new sprite that game sprite has a column that is default to 0. The game sprite has a row that defaults to 0. And the game sprite has this auto sprite position function in there. That works like that, and this is not player at all. This is self, and this is self. This is self. It always should have been self. Was just fine because there was only one. So we changed all that. Now, the image isn't something that we do later. But we can say box is a new sprite, and it is a new game sprite, and now we change everywhere where we have game sprite and call it game sprite with a capital G to indicate it is some kind of class. Replace all 4 of those. Great. You're a game sprite. And the player is also a game sprite. I think this does not need to be there anymore. And this does also not need to be there anymore. The movement needs to be there. And this should all work. So reset, load the game, and run, and there should be excitingly nothing. Perfect, that's how we want it. We just did some refactoring, and that means nothing should happen. If something happened, we would have done it wrong. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to add a box somewhere. So for now, be like, oh, we got a world, and I have a world at, say, 9. That thing should have a box, and this should be a new box. And I don't know, box should have a, like, init function that init function does the Does the init function does a self auto sprite position, and it also does display number 4 sprites push self, so that we also have it on the display. I think that might work. We'll see. So this is a new box, or see, temp box is a new box. Temp. Now this is interesting. Because the box knows where it is, and then also the cell knows where it is. Well, the cell does actually not know where it is, but the cell has an index. So no, I will just send the box column equals 9, box row equals 9 as well. Then say world 9 box equals 10 box. And then say box init as well. So next step. Next step, mini macro. It's also always the right step from me. Next step, open mini macro. Load my game, run my game. There is something up there. Are you 99? Okay. And this is interesting. Okay. Then we don't put it at 9, which is the top one, but put it somewhere in like 9 and 4. I need to stop always doing this. Okay. So now we have a box here. So we can also display boxes. And probably the next step would be to move boxes. This is always the best thing when you do mini micro game coding and you still have all the things up there because you don't clear your display, which, let's be honest, how about before we do this stuff, put a big fat clear in there, clear our display. So now that we reset it, that we load the game and run it. Yeah, that's better. Don't you think as well? Now we're... Hey! Yeah, sure. Because my... This should be not after the clear. This as well. And this as well. And maybe the player will become its own class as well at some point. Just put this for the clear version, because it just makes sense, right? Everything else kinda has a prototype thing here and the player doesn't. It's messy. It's messy. It's messy. But the game, run it, and yep, that's how it should look like. And now we have the nice thing where nothing is there, and once I put Q in there, it stops, and I can still say pretty print world, for example, and I got all my boxes in there. So why is now every box temp box? Huh? How does this work? Is there some kind of weird thing happening where this does not create new cell. That's probably it. Yep. Go away. Now check. Pretty print the world again. No. This is weird. Because the box is now 10 box on all of them. Why are they the same object? How? You can? Explain yourself. Is it because it is just a reference to the object and then it is all the same? Okay. So that means I need to basically write my own world setup for this. I see. Okay. I accept it as an explanation. I do not agree with it, but I think that function that actually does it the way it is, like I want it to work right now, would be a cool addition to the list utilities, though, because I don't know. I just think that there's many use cases for this. But I think it's with the references that's why it works like that. Okay, so what we do now is that we don't do that, we just do that. Right, then, or do I put an no? So how I go? How do I go about doing that? No, okay, this would just put. Okay, this just sets it up, and then I do a loop. I need to loop. So for No. Not acceptable. I'll do the loops. I'll figure it out. I'll just write a function somewhere and I'll just write a setup world function and then call it later. Okay, so setup world is a function. It ends at some point. So the first thing it does this thing first. So once it did this, it goes through everything. So for can I just go through that? Like all? No, I think I do need the length in this case. Yeah, because it's list is list before. So for call in range 0 to world. So should be world length, right? It's .len -1 and 4 for row in range 0 world call len -1. I know I can probably do this more efficient later because it always stays the same and there's nothing different in there, but this should, now I should be able to say world at call row equals new cell, and in the end I return the world and now down here I just say world equals setup world. And let's see what kind of errors are built into there. None. Impossible. I did it right. Without any errors. I did not think that was possible. Okay. Well. I guess that means I go back to my facecam for now. I think that's it for me today. I now did 2 hours streaming and coding. Seems to be a little bit more exhausting than just coding. So, but it was definitely fun. Thank you for your input. I hope you could learn something while watching me. And I will definitely stream the rest of this game jam as well. Don't expect too much. I don't have that much time to put into it, but I think I can do something fun with that. And in the end, the code will look the worst. So, bye.